Welcome back. Well, Sally is getting a little bit stronger at this hour. The winds are now sustained at 100 miles per hour, heading west-northwest now at 6 miles per hour, and it currently sits 105 miles just east of the mouth of the Mississippi River. Again, big story is, notice this cloud plume. It's rather large and extends all the way into the southern tip of Florida, almost all the way out to the Keys at this point. The concern is going to be an unlimited supply of moisture, and what it's going to do is drive some of those outer rain bands in the same location for multiple hours, because again, this system is crawling. It is barely moving. In fact, it may, by some model estimates, even stop for a little bit before starting to turn northward. As you see here, the progress, Category 2 storm, and we're only talking as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So just shy of about 24 hours, only moving a few miles. Now, the current track is keeping it a little bit further east, a little bit further away from Louisiana, obviously keeping us outside of the cone. But as you notice, by the time we get to about Wednesday morning, we're talking still a Category 2 storm. It's moving through a pretty favorable environment at this point. Some very warm waters out there. A little bit of wind shear, obviously, once it moves inland. I think that's why it's going to kind of decrease in strength a little bit as soon as it moves inland. But the key here is it could reach Category 3 strength before moving inland. And then the concern is, does the system stall out a little bit and maybe even loop back towards the Gulf of Mexico? That is a concern because the steering winds, they're just not that strong at this point. So I do want to point out things are improving for us here in the capital area. In fact, they have dropped us from a tropical storm warning. Same thing for East Feliciana, St. Helena, and southern Mississippi at this point. Again, the graphic hasn't updated, but the National Hurricane Center has dropped us at least from those warnings. Now, again, I do want to point out, you see, we do have a couple of those outer bands kind of sweeping their way across much of southeastern Louisiana. Nothing substantial at this hour. A little bit of rainfall now, as you see on the Doppler radar picture. A few light showers out there, a couple pockets, a little bit of cloud cover recently over the last couple hours. You can see one little shower making its way right now through the downtown area. A couple more showers from Livingston into Ascension Parish, and then you see also a couple more showers drifting across the area, obviously through New Orleans. But here is the FUTURECAST, and watch what happens here. We start to see some of those banding features, and notice all that heavy rainfall from Panama City through Pensacola and Mobile. Obviously, those bands are sitting there. Notice what happens. The system almost stalls out and takes a direct north turn at that point and then drives inland. You can see rather strong, almost as far east as Pensacola at this point, and that's where the heavy rainfall is going to sit. For us, obviously, a much drier picture as that system takes that northward turn. So as you see, for us, a little bit of cloud cover, a couple passing showers, and I think that's the greatest threat. Right now, our rain totals are sitting less than 2 inches over the next couple of days. Even for us, tropical storm force winds, the likelihood pretty low at this point at about 20% or less. And I just want to show you again those winds as the system drives through. We could see a couple winds up to about 30 miles per hour, but for most of us, maybe 10, 15, maybe up to about 25 miles per hour out there as the system drives towards the northeast. And obviously keep an eye on the system because they may even lower these amounts, because as the system drives northbound, those winds are going to shift and come back out of the northwest. Well, that's going to drive the water out of the lakes, so the storm surge may not be as intense as the original models are indicating. Just to show you some gusty winds out there at about 25 to 20 here. They have dropped us from that flash flood watch, which is great news because, as you see here, notice the gradient, less than an inch for us, and many areas even a few miles towards the east. We're just keeping that astronomical rain obviously further towards the east around Mobile, 10 to 15 and potentially maybe even up to 20 plus inches in some locations. So here you go. For us, again, we're going to keep an eye on Sally. There still is the potential that it could drift a little bit further west, and obviously that will increase our impacts. But if the overall trend continues, then our impacts start to decrease going into your Wednesday, Thursday. Not bad out there. A little bit of sunshine, and moving into the weekend, a front arrives, highs in the 60s, even overnight lows dropping, highs in the 80s, overnight lows dropping into the 60s. And your ski